Please be quiet and courteous to others and silence your cell phones now.
What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Nerdgasm Talk presents the movie experience. So usually we do the movie experience on Nerdgasm Talk podcast. So usually if I'll probably put this episode into the podcast later on this week, but we are going to do a review for Saturday. This is the current Halloween movies and Halloween themed things that we do. Friday's the remaster, Saturday's the current, Sunday's the retro, and today we're doing volume 2 of Unsolved Mysteries. Unsolved Mysteries volume 1 came out in March, and I was very happy for it. They changed the format of it a lot, but they kept the same eerie music, had the Robert Stack silhouette in the title intro. It had 6 cases that was very interesting cases. It was all like documentary style. They took away the whole cheesy reenactment stuff like that, which personally I do kind of miss. But now we get 6 new stories. So did they hold up? Was it better than volume 1? Not better than volume 1? We're going to get all up into it. Quick little breakdown and everything like that. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Well, I had to say that I felt as though the back end of volume 2 was a little bit stronger than the first end of volume 1, and we get the 6 different stories that pertain, and some that are kind of creepy and stuff like that. And we get the Washington Inside Murder, which has to do with the murder of White House aide Jack Wheeler. That this is publicized back in 2010, who was found in a landfill, and this case is kind of confusing at first, and you sit there wondering like, yo, could this be like an inside job and stuff like that? But it didn't grab me like the Ron Rivera case in volume 1, the very first episode in volume 1. That one to me still puzzled me. Like, I couldn't even really go right to sleep at night after that, 'cause I was like, yo, what happened to this brother, for real? This one, I'm like, it could have gone a couple different ways like that. It's very sad the story that it happened, and then they got the surveillance cameras on him and stuff like that. So the way the story's laid down, I'm like, it was a good opener to start off, volume 2, but with the Ron Rivera one, it still didn't just like grab me into that one. Then we go into the death in I forgot, it's just this lady who's found murdered in this hotel room, and all the name tags of her clothes is cut out, and then it's like that she should have committed suicide, but nobody knows who this lady is. There's no identification or anything like that, and they look deeper into it. It could be some kind of spy kind of things like that as well. So this story to me, it was a decent story. I think it was one of the weakest in volume 2, in my personal opinion. But I'm not saying it was a bad story at all, because first of all, I'm not gonna say no Unsolved Mystery is bad. You're trying to figure out what happened to these people, you know what I'm saying, and it's a very unfortunate thing that's happened. But I would say that this one to me felt as though it's the weakest out of the 6 that did come up in this one. It was either this one or the one that was right after this one, but it was a very creepy thing, and it's just amazing that nobody knew who this lady was at all. Then we get to episode 3, where it's talking about Death Row Fugitive. Death Row Fugitive, it centers around the sex offender Lester Eubanks, and how he killed this 14-year-old girl back in the 60s, and then he was sentenced, put on death row when the death penalty was abolished in 1972. He became part of a work program, and then he leaves the prison's grounds and escapes in 73 while he's going Christmas shopping. And I was sitting there like, what is going on here with the justice system going on? And it's very sad that they're out there still looking for this man. So it's either between, I think this was the weakest story, honestly, cause it was mostly open and shut type of thing. You know who did it, the guy got committed. The question is, where is he? You know what I'm saying? And then they go around looking around. They put him on America's Most Wanted. They talk to some family members and things like that. But some of them are being tight-lipped about where his location is. And of course, they give you the information of what to look for and stuff like that. Very creepy stuff. I'm like, man, somebody that out there that committed these crimes, stuff like that, is still out there running the streets and things like that. But that was like I said, I don't want to call any episode bad. They weren't bad episodes. There's some that was stronger and kept my interest more than some of the other episodes. So when it comes to Unsolved Mysteries, we know that we're getting either a type of paranormal type thing like this, and we get into tsunami spirits, which is the next episode. Is talking about some of the ghosts that back in 2011 they in Japan they had this tsunami, this earthquake, which caused a tsunami, which killed over 15,000 people, and still left 2,500 people missing. And I'm like, to this day, like, 15,000 people is a terrible amount of people, but to think that 2,500 is still missing, like they haven't found no body, no remains, nothing like that, and it's sad. And then they said the tsunami was 131 feet, and it's a very powerful episode. And then you talk about the spirits of how the spirits of these people that have died have come. It's not like a haunting, like we come get out type thing. Like these spirits are lost, and they don't know where to go, and then it gets to that, and then to the point where they have to, like, it's weird, but they had to explain to them that they had passed on, and that you have to go to this other world that is waiting for you, kind of thing. Like, and then this lady came in there who was, who I won't use the word possessed, but it's so like the spirits were inside of her, and she kept feeling all the pain that they were feeling, and they had to call to the priest to try to get him out. And then there was just some weird occurrences going, like with the lady who lost her 3-year-old son, and then the toy would start blinking to let them know that he was there. It's a lot of crazy stuff, and like it ain't just like one person seeing this, or kind of like how the UFO in Volume 1, it was like these 6 people were the ones that experienced this UFO, but even though it was like a whole county type thing, this one is like everybody is kind of like over experiencing these kind of ghost things and these kind of phenomena, and they explain the difference with the Japanese culture opposed to the American culture and how they handle the afterlife or stuff like that. I thought it was a very intriguing, very powerful episode. Then we get to the episode which is The Lady in the Lake, and this episode it was like I was watching and it pulled me in, because I was like, I want to know what happened to this lady, because the way it felt like they was just brushing it off as a suicide, where this lady goes to a church service, and then afterwards she's supposed to walk across this 2-lane highway down this slope and walk into the water and just drown herself. And it's just like, something's not adding up here. But the way that the police were just dismissing it and stuff like that, but then we got more to the nitty gritty of the case, you probably feel as though that there's some foul play was played, but they still don't know what happened, which is a very unfortunate thing. They still don't know what happened when it comes to their mother. But it just to hear her daughters and her brother, who they count as one of a suspect or something like that, but they still kind of cleared him off that he didn't do it. But it was good. It really dragged me in, because like I said, when it comes to those things, like when they just cast off as one thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, it's something really deeper than that. That's intriguing to me too. Then we have the final episode, which was the stolen kids, where it was. This is a sad episode. It was in Harlem in 1989. It was the Martin Luther King Park in on Lenox Avenue. I'm not from New York, so and Christopher Dansby was kidnapped. They could, like, his mom was with him, and then she said left with some family members and went to the store, and all of a sudden he's not there. And then 3 months later, there's another boy that goes missing in the same park. So trying to figure out where these stolen kids from. So it's a whole missing episode type thing. It's heartbreaking when kids are stolen, like the babies. Like these babies was 19 months, 2 years old, 1 year. Like, these are very small kids. They're very impressionable kids, to the point where they haven't able to form, really talk that much, or even form a memory type thing. So you can just take these kids and raise them as your own, and they don't even know they're stolen. And they actually talked about a case that happened back in 2011, where this happened to somebody stole a baby, dressed up as a nurse and stole this baby. And 23 years later, she comes to find out that that's not even her mama. She was stolen because the lady was having miscarriages and she wanted to have a child. And no matter what's going on in your life, stuff like that, and like I said, I'm not going to say to preach to you, but stealing somebody else's kid is just, God, it just irks you, especially being a father myself. So it was a very emotional episode, because the mothers are still going through pain. It's been 30 years. since these kids have been missing, and they haven't nothing yet. So they did the age progression, which kind of weirds me out a little bit, but they did the age progression of where these kids were. And at the end of the episode, they other kids that have gone missing, they have did the same thing also, because a lot of times with these situations, is people kidnap these kids and raise them as their own because they can't have kids, or people was making an observation about selling them, you know, like in black market type thing like that. But still, it's just like, when they're that young, it's usually like it could be a family thing, a kidnapping the kids, or it could be a thing where they just trying to take the kids of their own and raise them and nobody even knows. But that's what the point of Unsolved Mysteries is for, so people can come out and then hopefully can get more light on the case that they did for Volume 1. So that was Volume 2 all in a nutshell when it comes to Unsolved Mysteries. I thought as a whole, from Volume 1, Volume 2, all 12 episodes, it was a great start for a revamped season. I would like to see another season. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of miss the cheesy, campy, over-the-top reenactments, but I understand with the way a lot of things go today, because every day is I always reenact. Like me and my wife watch Fatal Attraction, you know, see that will be on TV One, and some of them actors be like, "Oh, you are bad," but you know what I'm saying. But it's cheesy, but it helps tell the story. But this one, you know, I appreciate going for the more eerie feel, the more of the dark side of the ring reenactment type thing, like where it's like silhouettes type thing. You never really see the actor's face playing them, but you just always see kind of like a glimpse of what's going on. I think that's pretty good also. So I'm gonna have to rank Volume 2. I'm gonna give it a B overall for all the shows on there. Actually, definitely give it a chance, but I'm definitely gonna give it a low B for this one. I can't debate which volume I like better, because the second Volume 2 second half was very strong to me. You take the back half of Volume 2 and give me 2 episodes from Volume 1, you have a perfect Unsolved Mystery season. But make this decision for yourself. Post out your comments down below what you guys think about Unsolved Mysteries Volume 2. Hit the like button if you guys enjoying the 31 Days of Halloween right here on NC Studios, and make sure you guys check out tomorrow for Nerd Coalition, the retro movie experience, where we're going to talk about some retro Halloween movies as well. So once again, this is NC Place to Be, Children Train Mr. A&D. Make sure you guys check out the Nerd Guys Who Talk podcast, and see you at the movies.